Hi everyone, welcome to the SuperClashBros, a podcast where we take a deep dive into the horror stories of Reddit and discuss the things that truly go bump in the night. My name is Trey, and I will be your guide through the strange and unexplainable this evening. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Trey, and today I'm joined by my co-host Connor. Today Connor will be narrating our story.
Alright. Tonight our story comes from the Reddit board The Truth Is Here. This is posted by PHILMXPHILM, and the title of this story is An Encounter with Actual Evil 10 Years Ago That I Can't Forget. The story starts with, I used to live in Greenpoint, Brooklyn, a lovely area that's historically Polish but has become super hip. Anyway, there's a cute little grocery store there called The Garden that I shopped at regularly. I was in line to get some lunch meat, and there was a guy and a woman ahead of me. The guy emitted a vibe I've never felt in my life, and it chilled me to the core. He sort of looked like Zed from Pulp Fiction Usual Suspects, and was dressed very eccentric / rock and roll-ish, but definitely not a hipster or anything. He was with a woman who was really weird too, and looked like a stripper sort of. I can't really eloquently explain it, but the feeling he gave me was so chilling that I still remember it to this day. The story is sort of unimpressive until this part. When the guy finally left and it was my turn, the Polish deli worker looked at me and goes, "Bro, you ever deal with someone and they just seem straight up evil?" It blew me away, and I couldn't believe that we both intuitively sensed this. To this day, I swear we both saw a real evil entity.
Huh. There's as short as that story was, there's quite a bit to unpack there. I love that it's just like they're randomly at a grocery store and they like see this dude and they're like, oh, like he's evil.
Yeah.
But like he's given like no real like reason. It's just like a vibe, I guess. And that's I don't know, I find that weird. And then like the whole stripper thing.
Yeah. I thought this story was interesting because you can interpret it like a few different ways. So you have like the very obvious surface level discussion of like, well, maybe these people are just kind of judgy, and they're like judging someone based off their appearance, you know? Because it would have been a different story if they had just like, yeah, he was just a normal guy in a hat and t-shirt and jeans or whatever. You know, like it's a little different when you're describing him as kind of like, you know, rock and roll-ish or whatever, right? But the other piece of this is, you know, I think in life there's definitely been people who just seeing them or talking to them, I immediately pick up like bad vibes on.
Right.
You know? And we kind of had a similar discussion on, you know, a previous podcast that we did, you know, about animals and even being, you know, perceptive people picking up on these vibes. But I just thought it was kind of interesting. Have you ever like encountered someone where you're like, yeah, that person, I don't trust it. I think they're evil.
I mean, like, I wouldn't say evil, in a sense. Like, there are people that I've seen who, you know, without any interaction, I'm just like, they seem like trouble, you know. And then there are people who I've had multiple interactions with who like seem super friendly, you know, but like it's almost too friendly, like on a fake side. And then you just kind of get the feeling that like they're hiding something. But I wouldn't say anything evil necessarily. But like, I mean, like you do see those like certain people. You have conversations with certain people, and you know, like maybe you're like, oh, like they could be a serial killer in the back of your mind. But like on the surface, like they might act normal and stuff.
I think like for me, I don't think I've ever encountered someone where I guess that I thought that they were truly evil. I definitely have like seen people who immediately gave off a vibe of like, this guy's probably an asshole. Like, you know, you can definitely pick that vibe up on people, and
Oh,
And
for
you can pick
sure.
that up from people who are both outwardly presenting an asshole, or even people that like are trying to present, like you were saying, a positive, you know, friendly demeanor, but you can kind of pick up that like, they're still an asshole. So
So like,
yeah,
I guess it really just depends on your definition of evil, because like, going back to saying like people who are like overly friendly, like I see that like sometimes as like a manipulation tactic, and it's like, if they're manipulators, like does that constitute them being evil? You know?
I don't think that's fair because I think everybody to an extent has a bit of manipulation to them. That we're
Well,
trying.
I'm talking about people who like constantly do it. Like they will put a face on and ensure that they get what they want every single time.
Is that a little more along the lines of like, hmm, there's got to be some sort of like, along the lines of like psychopathy and
Right,
sociopathy,
yeah.
something in there that kind of attaches with that. But I don't know. I think you can transcend just being an asshole to being like evil, like someone who like
Right, yeah.
I get a bad vibe and it turns out they go home and they like beat dogs or whatever. It's like, yeah, that person's evil.
Right.
Yeah. But I don't think there's ever been like I kind of get like the impression from this story that they're um attaching a sort of paranormal definition of evil to it, like a
Right.
demonic sort of evil or a
Which
something like that.
it's so weird though, because like they don't really put any detail in the story of like, was it his actions that were giving off the vibe? Was it just like the air around him that felt like there was something different? You know,
Yeah, I would have liked to have if it was
because to
meaningful.
me, when I see this story, what I think about, which probably isn't true because it's on Reddit, but it seems like, an elderly person, maybe like mid 60s,
Uh-huh.
who just saw some like punk rock dude and his girlfriend at the grocery store and were like, damn teenagers, like whatever, like, oh, she's a stripper and he's like a fucking good for nothing degenerate, and they're like evil.
Yeah, which
Like that's
is
kind of how I feel about this story, and I'm just like, come on.
if this story had taken place in like the Midwest or the South, I definitely would have, attached that to it. But this is in Brooklyn. You probably
That
see
is
a lot
true,
of
yeah.
weird people in Brooklyn, right?
Yeah,
I think you would.
I'm sure. I mean, you'll
Maybe that's
find
my
weird people
judginess coming
anywhere,
out.
like,
But
but.
yeah.
All right, well, I think that's gonna do it for us on this episode, guys. If you have any stories you'd like to submit, you can do so via our email at scspookycast@gmail.com. The description will be, or the link will be in the description below, as always, along with the link to our merch site. Go copy some merch while it's still here. Other than that, we hope you have a safe and spooky night, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.